Good afternoon, good evening, and to some, good morning. Whenever you get this, welcome to the Final Boss podcast. I'm your host, Turbo the CEO, presented by our Trinity Entertainment, our Trinity Music Group. And man, what a fantastic week! What a fantastic week. What a fantastic week. How's everyone doing out there? Hope everyone is well. Hope everyone is blessed. Hope everyone is engaging in whatever you decide to engage in. Listen, man, I got a fantastic show for you tonight. We're going to get right into it in a few. Get a couple people to come on board. And man, I hope y'all heard me. I didn't even have the mic on. That's crazy. It's diabolical right now how technology is set up. So we're gonna do it. Again, greetings to everyone who is watching, anticipating the Final Ball podcast. And I'm your host, Turbo the CEO. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Okay. Everyone's doing well. So before I dive in, I'm going to discuss some things that we've went over. I'm going to take a little pivot before we get into it. So our first episode was personal convictions. We went over personal convictions and how it may relate to what is going on in your life. Uh, the second episode, I took you guys to the gun range. Part two of that is coming up. We're planning it out. We want to have some other guests there as well. Some people want to come out to the range and engage in certain activities that you can engage in at the outdoor range. So we're planning that. Shout out to my man Marcus at Merlin_ready. Hey man, we getting ready to get the second episode in. Let's get it done so we can knock that out and bring in part two. After the gun range, we talked about words have power, and we discussed how words relate to not only yourself but the things that you project and how others perceive those things. We talked about that. Tonight, which is very, very critical in my opinion, we're going to talk about situational awareness. Now, a lot of you may not know what situational awareness is. Those of you who are in the government, prior service, military, civil service, you may know what I'm talking about. But for you civilians, listen, situational awareness is critical, especially in these days and times. I implore you, I'm going to say that again. I implore you to take notes if you can. If you've never heard of situational awareness, you don't know what I'm talking about, take notes. Again, I implore you to listen. And this is not fear mongering. Oh, by the way, for all the social media people out there, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all those other hosting sites, this is for entertainment purposes only. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is just entertainment. So, I had to get that disclaimer out there. Um, if you follow other podcasts and you follow other folks, you hear that first thing they say is this is for entertainment purposes so only. Nobody wants to get their feed shut down because uh, they disclose some things that they shouldn't have disclosed. But I'm not here to do that. This is for information purposes only and entertainment. So, situational awareness. There's four different types of situational awareness. They're color coded. Your first one is white, your second one is yellow, then you have orange, and then you have red. White situational awareness is more of a tuned in, but you're aware. Yellow situation awareness is more of a relaxed fit. And we're going to go and discuss all of these and what they mean and everything like that. Orange is focused. You're focused on your what's going on. And red is high alert. Excuse me. So situational awareness, real briefly, you can Google it. I don't need to give you the definition, but for those who uh just real quick, it's being aware of your surroundings, having your head on a swivel, and putting these things into practice. When you arrive at certain destinations, like say the mall or where there are large crowds, do you take a couple of minutes to be aware of where you are, the people around you, the activities that are taking place? When you go to the mall, before you jettison out the car, take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes to look around, see what's going on, watching individuals, making eye contact with people. It's very critical that you make eye contact with people. Be aware of people's clothing. Be aware of their movements, things of that nature. We America is known for having mass shootings. Like it's known. It's happening. It's crazy how much mass shootings are happening. And for safety purposes, when you go to large uh large large locations that are maybe crowded or there are a lot of people, be aware. Take a couple minutes and go through your self-assessment. Put a self-assessment together where you're aware of where you parked, aware of have an exit strategy. Always have an exit strategy, no matter where you go. In case of emergency, always have an exit strategy. Have it already planned out in your head from the time you arrive, where you're going, and how you're going to leave. And if there's a case of emergency, how you're going to exit out of there. If you are in a situation where you have to stay in place, which means that wherever you are for safety reasons, you have to stay where you are. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Keen in onto what people are saying. Keen in on what alarms, if there are alarms that are going off. Um, Having a plan for your family when you go to these places, because mass shootings are so frequent. It's like becoming, and unfortunately, it's becoming like a pastime. It's it's ridiculous uh, how these things are being played out. Have the plan, safety first, enter strategy, exit strategy. And I'm repeating myself so you can understand where I'm coming from and you grasp the concept. It's very critical that we start looking towards the energy of what's going on, of your where you are in your surroundings. Um, Having that level of awareness, that's going to be your white situation awareness. understanding that anything can happen at any time. The carjackings around the nation have skyrocketed. People are going to the gas station, leaving their car running, pumping the gas, turning their back. Somebody's jumping in while you're not looking. Your car's already running, keys are in the car, and they're taking off with your vehicle. Our awareness is off. Uh, We as Americans have become too complacent when it comes to the things that are around us. We have what I like to call a false sense of security. We have a false sense of security right now, and you're right, because anything can happen. We need to be aware of everything and know what to do when you're caught in those situations. Um, your yellow is you're going to be your relaxed state. When you arrive, you do quick checks before getting out of the vehicle. Just take a couple minutes, quick check, see where you're entering, see where you're going to exit, see where you're parked at, look at the vehicles around you, check the parking plates. I mean, just do all these things because it will save you in the end, and entertainment purposes only. Safety precautions. Your orange is going to be your focused. That's when you're going to be in a focused state. You know that there's a possibility of something that can happen. You should know that anyway, because any like I was just saying, anything can happen. But when you're focused, you have an objective, you go, you there, and you get out. You pay attention to everything around you, head on a swivel, constantly on a swivel, head on a swivel. Your reds color is going to be your alert, your high alert. You understand the area you're in. There's gas, like we're in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And people have posted certain gas stations you don't want to go to after a certain time. This is real. Um, I'm not joking. It's not a laughing matter, but it's very real and it's very true. Um, you don't want to go to these places after at night. Basically, you don't want to go there. I wouldn't go there in the daytime, and I'm a concealed carrier. I mean, listen, anything can happen. You have to be aware of everything that's going on. Um, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I don't want to watch the news. The news is so depressing. The news is feeding us. It's the energy in the news." I understand, but here's the thing: if you're not aware of what's going on, how would you know? How would you know? You need to start paying attention. Look at different sources. You don't necessarily have to get your news source from your regular uh, TV local channels, but there are other sources out there. Pay attention to what's going on. There are people who are readily available sending messages on social media. They're plugged in, letting letting you know what's going on. Outside of situational awareness, you need to be thinking about emergency situations, having an emergency plan. Do you have an emergency plan for your family? And on my next episode, I'm gonna go into detail about having an emergency plan. We're going to talk about not only the emergency plan, but having communication, emergency communication, having that plan, possibly having a location where you and your family can meet, having enough food for 3 weeks. That's that's the going number right now per different experts out there. You need to have enough food to last for about 3 weeks. Have a bug out bag. If it calls for you to leave your location for safety reasons, have a bug out bag prepared. And I'm going to discuss having a bug out bag, emergency plan, communication, and things of that nature on the next show. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna call the next show emergency plan. So we're gonna talk about having enough water for 3 weeks, food for 3 weeks, emergency plan, communication, having a bug out bag, and looking at different access routes. We're gonna look at uh, not only different access routes, but different modes of transportation. Are you ready? Because the main highways, as you see in the movies, are cluttered. The traffic jams are going to be ridiculous. If you get caught in one of those traffic jams, what do you do? How do you manage to get away on foot? If you decide to take alternative routes, what are you going to do? What is going to be your mode of transportation? Being prepared for that transportation. All this goes along with situational awareness, but this is going to be like part two, where I'm putting the plan together, I'm communicating the plan, executing the plan, having these things in a checklist. You're going to need a checklist. Have a checklist ready. We're going to talk about the bug out bag. I'm going to show you how to build a bug out bag with first aid. Look, that's for the next show. But um, I truly am thankful for everyone who's tuning in. I I appreciate everyone who is tuning in, and I must say that this has been a journey for me. I'm gonna pivot a little bit before we close out. There's something that is weighing on your heart, but you're afraid to do. You're afraid to do it because you don't think you're going to be good at it or you won't be great at it. Here's the thing, you won't know until you start. There's always a start point. These NBA players, they just didn't become great by getting to the end. There was a process. They played hundreds, thousands of games from the tender age and tender crazy at the young age of 5 and 6. They played basketball from that time. Summer camps, the the uh practices, constant. It's a constant thing. Anytime, anything you want to do, it takes constant work to be good, to be great. But the caveat is you have to start. You have to start. I'm going to say it again. You have to start. If you don't start, you will sit and it would never happen. The things that you're trying to change in your life would never happen. You have to start. You start. It's going to suck in the beginning. You tweak and you constantly tweak. And tweaking is the point where you're learning from the experience and you perfect what you're doing and you go from good to great. There are a lot of books out there, man. There are a lot of videos on these type of things. But my message to you, on top of the situation awareness, is start. Don't worry about what people say. People criticize people every day, all the time. They criticize the experts. They criticize these billionaires who are experts in their craft. They criticize the celebrities. They criticize the athletes. Listen, people are going to criticize you. It doesn't matter. Start. If you have an idea, you want to get something done, start. Get it done. Get it done. Practice, practice, practice makes perfect. You become good at it. You become confident. You become great. But it starts at the start point. So go out there, be fearless, right? Be fearless. Don't listen to the final boss because the final boss is here. That's where the doubt, the fear, the other voices and that come about that create and decrease your passion. You got to be passionate about this. I'm passionate about getting this message out to you. And I'm not worried about if somebody else is already talking about it. I'm talking to you, whoever is watching, whoever is listening. That's what I'm talking. That's the person I'm talking to. There's almost 8 billion, is 8.2 billion people on the planet. Somebody's going to see this. If they don't see it today, they may see it tomorrow. They may see it in a month. I've seen videos that have gone viral and they've been out for 2 years. You have to start. Get out there and punch it, man. Make it happen. I don't care what it is. Entertainment purposes only. Start. And with that message, I bid you adieu. I salute you. I'm the final boss, and this is the Final Boss Podcast. Turbo the CEO, Trinity Entertainment, signing off. Love.